Hello and welcome back to the Northern Lights SMP, and I wanted to start this episode by saying a massive thank you to everyone who watches and everyone that's subscribed. When the last video went out, we hit 100 subscribers. At the time of recording, we are just a little over 100 right now. Hopefully that doesn't change and drop again before this video comes out, otherwise this bit will date badly. But I just wanted to say a huge thank you so much for everyone who has supported me. In the last episode, I asked what you would like me to build on this server next, and we had kind of 3 responses. First response was the farm area up here. We also had a few responses for the mining entrance and mining area, and also the pond and lake area over behind our nether tree over there. So I think these are all fantastic ideas and will be the next few episodes in the series. And so I think what we'll do first is convert this area up here into a farmland area with some nice trees, buildings, some more crop farms, maybe a pig pen over there, and a horse stable, and a nice courtyard area. And we will get some villagers in and start trading with them so we can eat golden carrots instead of this steak. And yeah, I think this whole area needs to be kind of converted and flattened out. So that is the first thing we're gonna do, is do some terraforming on this area. So the first part of the terraforming is done, and as we come up here you can see we now have a bit more space up here, and I think what I will do is have the path come along this way and cut through some form of a gap here, and we can send it out towards the other parts of the world. Up here in this space is where we're going to have our buildings, and they're going to be very similar to the B buildings that we have, and I'll include a link to the video that I took inspiration from on these, but I think we'll make a few edits to them. I think having one open-sided as a stable will look pretty cool, and I think we'll add a little tower to one, so I think we'll still go for 3 buildings, and then from there we can extend the path over the other side, and this whole other area I'm thinking of converting into fields. I wanted to get the building in place first before we continue with any of the terraforming. It might be that we have to peel back a level of this forest behind us, but yeah, so I'll grab the stuff and we'll get on with that. So we've gathered our resources and we're just going to start working out where these builds should be, and I think it's important to figure out the first one to start with, and I kind of like the kind of U shape that we have there, but maybe we do an L shape and we have 1 here and then 2 along the back wall. That might be worth it, so let's try this out. So I reckon let's start here and we go 1, and then we do a block of 3, 1, another block of 3, and we continue this out for like a set of 3 like that, and then we have then 5 on the sides, 1, 2, 3, and we'll see how big it looks. And this is our rough shape and basis for it, and you know what, I think that's a pretty good thing, and maybe we don't need an extra one here. I think if we have one on this side, that could work pretty well. Yeah, I think that could be pretty good for the size wise on these. And then we'll just bring up the wood. So we have our cobble deep slate, and we're just gonna fill in the bottom bit to add some texture to it. And now we have that in place, we can switch it up and add in our granite, brick, and acacia planks. Oh, and dripstone, nearly forgot. And we'll add this into the walls just to make it look like bright and orange, I guess. And same as last time, I feel it's always easier to go in with 1 block fully and then switch out to add your texture in later. And on the back here, I'm not sure how I want this, if I want windows or not, because windows into nothing kind of makes no sense. So I think for now we're just gonna fill it in and see how it looks. And for the other one here, because it is going to act like the like a stable, I think I'm going to replace these with walls and then a fence in the middle. But the rest of the structure will be similar. And then along these middle bits here, we want to have a log. So if we take our jungle log and we fill it out this way. And for the roof, we'll do it in the same way, where we fill in the slabs to start with in one variant, and then we can go in and add our detail later. So let's fill this in and see how it looks. Actually, I've just come back to the bee house just to take a look at exactly what we did, and we actually didn't do what I've just said. So we need to go in and get some calcite and some diorite and fill in the ceiling like we did. So what we do is fill in calcite along this level and this level, and then the roof goes onto this side. So the rest of the roof will be in with some mossy cobble. We have some full blocks, some stairs, and some moss in itself. And we want to kind of make it feel a little rough in places, a little rundown. And so I think in places like this, we can do like a combination of stairs and slabs to make it feel like that, and then here add in some moss around as well. And the plus side of the moss, like we did in the other build, is we can add in some flowers and greenery on top of the moss. Yeah, and I think that just kind of adds a little worn down, rundown effect. And we'll go in and we will de-wax or wax the copper and put it at different stages so it looks a bit more like the other one. And yeah, we'll repeat the process on the for the roof for the next build as well. So now that we have both the builds with their roof in place, I wanted to come in and test out my kind of idea for the barn. So I thought that something like this would feel a little too restrictive to bring in horses, and I think horses fit through a gate. So I was thinking, how about we do something like this instead and leave it open on the inside, and on the other side as well. Might leave it open like that so they can see. I think if we add trap doors to the window, they won't be able to jump, or we could even just replace this whole thing with walls and then they can't get out. That might be a very cool idea as well. Yeah, I think that could be cool. I don't know if I want to separate all of like the horses, or if 3 gates feels like a bit of overkill if I don't do that, but we'll see what happens. We might come back in and leave only the middle gate, I think. And on top of the doors and windows here, we want to go in and add in stairs like this, just to give it a bit of depth. And you know what? Looking at this like that, we might even do it here. We maybe consider doing something like this. Actually could be very cool, and adding in the different variants of the stairs as well. Yeah, I quite like that actually. Could be a very nice feeling to it. Yeah, looks cool. So I have tweaked in a little bit of the path, and I'm going to build a fountain in this section here, and then the path up to the 2 builds. And I think what I want to do now is work on the outside of these builds. And in the video, they have a little nice porch area, and I think what I'll do is build a porch on the main house, and I will then also add the tower onto the top of the main house, a little tower and a chimney. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make a little L shape out of some podzol. And then on this corner, we're also going to add a piece of podzol. And then we are going to add in a mossy cobble wall here and here. We're going to add 2 fences on top of here, and we're going to add 2 here as well. And we're going to come in with trapdoors and add them on top here. And we're also then going to go in with some campfires and just make a couple of these campfires instead. And we're going to put them out with our shovel. And then what we'll do is come in and kind of finish this up a little bit so that the gap's gone. But I won't finish all of them in because I quite like the idea of a little bit of a gap here and there. So I think that could look quite nice. And then around this podzol, we're just going to get some acacia trapdoors. I think they use acacia in the example, and I want to see if that's good from this design or not. You know what? I think the acacia works well. I was thinking of going spruce, but I think it offsets or works well with the wall in place. So for the tower, we are going to do a very similar style thing to the roof and just bring it up a little more. We want to go 3 in, so on this one, and we want to take this top layer off. And on the corners, we'll go jungle. And the walls, we will continue to use our granite. And we have this little tower in place, and we'll just fill out the roof a little more. So on these ones, and these ones will go with these full blocks like that. And then around the sides, we can go with a combination of the slabs and maybe some upside down stairs as well. Yeah, and we just continued the same sort of style with the roof, filling in different types of copper, moss, and mossy cobble. And we added in some brown stained glass as like a little window. There's nothing in here. I don't feel like I'll connect it, but it looks nice. And then the final bit for the little house is this porch flooring. And I worked a little bit on a path, but I'm going to actually tear that up and replace it with some spruce, I think, similar to the inside flooring. And on the inside, I have this kind of design where the logs are pointing upwards, and then we have a kind of stripped on the side as well, which I think works quite nice for a kind of internal flooring. But for this outside, I think I'm going to do more of, I guess, more of my traditional style. And so for that, I think we will add in a few of these spruce planks, and then add in kind of sideways logs and strip them down. And I like this kind of top part to it. It just kind of adds a little difference to our other houses with keeping it in the same style. And to finish it up, they used a little chimney on the side, which I quite like. So we'll just clear a little bit of a space here. And in the main part, we will go up 3. We'll do 3 on each side. An extra one here. We'll add walls to each of these, and we'll add in back, we'll do the moss. I quite like adding the flowers and the moss, so moss on this side back. And then on the top we can add a campfire surrounded by spruce trapdoors, and on the top of the campfire just add a single wall. Makes it look a little more like a chimney, I think. Yeah, I like that. It maybe blends a little too much because everything's a little too samey. We could replace in, I guess, less copper around here. Might make it stand out. But I think overall it looks pretty nice. So I've grabbed some resources and I want to work on this fountain now. And so I think what I want to do is, with some deep slate, we'll make a basic shape like this, and I want to kind of add a bit of texture and depth with some stairs and some walls in place. So we'll add these walls in the corner and we'll bring them up another level as well, I think. And I think for a couple of these we will replace them with stairs. I probably should have done it before I added the water, but it's okay. And we can do a combination of upside down and normal. Yeah. And then on top of the walls, we'll add again 2 spruce. And again, we will add in our granite as a kind of a roof to start with. And I think what we'll do is we'll just make it 4 across, but have the middle ones up as well. And I think we will then go in and say, add in some brick instead in certain places, just to give it a bit more interest to it. And then as like a little kind of bucket well icon, we are going to use a grindstone and we'll add a couple of chains in just so it looks like it's going into the water. But we won't actually add anything to use it. I had a look at a cauldron, but I just felt like it was a bit too big for what I wanted. Yeah, and I think that fits quite nicely, but I will add in a little more detail now in the form of a few glowberries. I feel like you can't get enough glowberries in this world. And I'll probably also add some glow lichen just to add a little more texture in here. And when we have the path around it, I feel like it will look great. But yeah, this will be a little center for them, a little kind of where they come and collect water before they're going out into the fields or going down to feed the animals. So the final thing is a bunch of detailing. We've got to go in and do all the pathing. We've got to do a lot of farmland out there, maybe a garden over that side. We can bring in some bees and everything. And so I'm going to tackle that stuff now off camera, and I'll bring you back to see how far we have come along. So welcome back, and yeah, it's come a long way since you've last seen it. So I thought I would show you how it's going. So as you come along here, you see to our left we have this nice custom tree. I think this is probably the best angle for the tree. And we have our farmland kind of swooping around here down to the sheep pen. And behind it, I've added in this kind of rocky face. It looked a bit weird having just the dirt there, so I thought we'd come in with the rocky face and replace it with some stone, with some slabs and stairs, with some cobble, tuff, and dripstone throughout, just to give it a bit more texture to it. And as you come here, we've extended the path up. You've got our farmland on that side, and we have got our builds that we did earlier, and I've kind of surrounded them with like a flower garden on both sides, which I like the look of. We come up to our water fountain, and I think it's looking pretty nice here. We added in some glowberries in, and we still need to find some horses, but if we go inside, I did a little bit of a decor. A little bunk bed design that is I found from a Sev video. A little bit of a reading library, table to eat in, and a kitchen area. Nothing too fancy. We still need to get villagers in here though. And yeah, the tree could be a little better from certain angles. Yeah, I'll probably continue to work on it as we go along. And we follow the path round, some more flowers on this side, and we get round to our pig area in here. And I think this path I'll continue down and round, and it will go out this way towards where our fishing area is. And from high up, this place is looking really nice as we pan across. I think we need to add in more of those custom trees, and farmland looks great, and we kind of bring the area all together with our paths and on our flowers. So I think I'm pretty happy with this so far. And it is looking fantastic with shaders. I think most things do, but this area is looking great. But yeah, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like. And if you're new, consider subscribing. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.